everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing an interview with Danielle Sloley. Danielle Sloley, she previously went to Immaculate, yes, and then now she's attending Clemson University in South Carolina. Yes, and she's pursuing a major in economics and she's currently in her third year. So, Danielle, thank you for coming.
Anytime. So exciting.
Yes. Okay, so Daniel, first things first, give us a brief introduction about you.
Brief introduction about me. So I'm gonna give you rapid fire speed facts. So my name is Danielle Sloley. I was born in St. Catherine, Jamaica. I'm currently 21. As she said, I attend Clemson University. I am a shot putter. So I participate in track and field and I throw shot put. My hobbies are traveling, sleeping, and eating. That's about it.
Okay, all right. So the following question is, what made you want to study abroad?
Well, for me, my mother already told me that the funds weren't there for
Yeah.
school. So I knew just going into high school early on that I had to find another way to make it out.
Yeah.
And track and field just presented itself as an opportunity. And when I heard scholarship, I said, say less, say less. Because if these two hands aren't getting me there, I don't know how I get in there. So really, when I was introduced to the concept of like scholarship for an international student, I really jumped at the opportunity because I'm like, hey, visa, new country, new opportunities, money, and heavy on the money again. I was just like, yeah, it wasn't that hard. Poverty kind of made the choice for me.
Understandable, understandable. So how did you come about picking what career path you wanted to go in, separate and apart from the athletics being attached to everything?
So that part of my life is actually really dynamic because it changes. Like I'm seeing parts of myself, things that I could get into, because I feel like we're of this mindset that you have to just stick to one thing for the rest of your life. But
Yeah.
no, like it's, dynamic. I can decide I want to be a lawyer tomorrow and be a construction worker the next day. It doesn't really matter. So right now I'm looking at real estate law. I've known that I want to be a lawyer for like a really long time. Like I knew it was law. Career path is really dynamic, and right now looking at like real estate law. Real estate law came to me because one, I really like houses. I like real estate in general. Like I like the market of buying and selling houses. I think it's interesting. I've watched HGTV with my grandmother for a really long time, so I was like, hey, it's something I'm actually interested in. Law became, I don't want to say a passion of mine because I'm not actually pursuing the degree, but I'll say it's an interest. Simply because I like advocating for people. I like seeing, even when I was head girl, I was like, I like seeing people get what they deserve. So if I can be somebody to help in the process of that, then it's for me.
Okay, nice. Side note, she was head girl when I was going to Immaculate. So we were in the same class from grade 7 to grade 11. And then the whole order of names caused us to split up. So
But
I've
then we
known
had
Daniel for a really long time.
Auntie Sharon for come. So you're still in my
Yeah,
class.
yeah, 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 yeah. And we had carb studies together.
Yeah, so we've been in classes
Yes,
together since grade
great.
7.
So
Yeah.
what was it well, we know that you're going to school in the US and you're going to Clemson University in South Carolina and you are on a scholarship, yes? Okay.
Yes.
So was it a major factor that your athletics be like a huge part of this, your whole process of getting to the US to pursue your tertiary education, or do you think you could have done it maybe without the athletics?
Truth be told,
Mm-hmm.
had it not been for athletics, I'd have probably studied locally because it would have proven cheaper for me. It's
Yeah.
just like the process of being an international student overall is expensive, even with the scholarship. So my mother, I told you guys, my mother already said, we don't have it. We don't have the capacity. So track and field really, I think it was probably my sole purpose for going to the United States. Like, I think local schools are just as good as international schools, and you can get anything you can get abroad, you can get locally. But for me, the price played a very heavy part. So honestly, if it wasn't for track, it would have been UE or UTech nights.
Yeah. Okay. So, what were you most excited about going to South Carolina?
I was most excited about the track and field program there because, like, yes, I know, like, school will get done, like,
Yeah.
regardless. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter where I go, but I'm just like, I chose Clemson because I really want to be a professional athlete one day, and I feel like they have the resources, the coaching staff, just the backative and support to get me where I needed to be.
Okay, very nice. And what were you most nervous about?
I was most nervous, and I don't know if this is like racist because it's not racist, but I was most nervous about going to a predominantly white institution because,
Yeah.
at that time, that was 2020, so that was George Floyd, that was the whole pandemic, the whole
Yeah.
lives matter, like the Trump election was also coming up that year, so I was just like, yeah, it's not looking like a great place, but when you get there, it's really not as bad. Not to say it's all peaches and cream and rainbows and unicorns, but it's really not as bad as the media makes it look.
Okay. Okay. That's good to hear your perspective on that. So, I know you said that you picked Clemson because you goodly had a list of universities that you were looking at, and Clemson was the best choice. So, it was that good choice for you athletically, but for your academics, is it the same? Do
Oh,
you feel like it was a very good choice as well?
trust. I did not know Clemson's academic standards were so high. It's actually very hard to get into my school as a regular person. It might not be Ivy League, but it's still really up there. Like, the acceptance rate isn't very high. Like, I know people who scored way, way higher than me on the SATs, and they're struggled to get accepted into Clemson. So academically, Clemson's doing quite fine. But as I said, I found that out later because I'm like, a degree is really a degree. It don't really matter where you get it from.
That's that is so true. That is so true because some people have said some things and I'm like, come on, man. Not you can't make the standard be something that you know. You have to make the standard be something that is equal to everybody so everybody has a chance to get it. You get me?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you balance school and athletic demands?
Well, I did track all of high school, so you saw firsthand how I did some of that balancing, which is really juggling. That's exactly what it is. It's juggling. It's three things up in the air. It's called personal health and hygiene, track and field, and school. And sometimes you can't hold all three of them at the same time, so you have to pick your favorites. Really, especially since going into university, I want to tell you that I've improved on time management by also very much, but that would be a lie. I'm still really figuring it out, balancing it, especially now that I'm an adult and I have to adult and you have to bathe and buy toilet paper and stuff like that now. And those are all no people think it's a joke, but I'm being very serious. Like the responsibility of you have to turn off the stove, you have to wash, you need clothes for tomorrow, and you know how you have deodorant all the time, you take things for granted like that was like balancing that, which is the adult and personal life and school and track. It's really about prioritizing and writing things down. Writing things down. It really does help because I don't have any memory. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. And yes, I was like writing things down, having friends around you also to help you keep you accountable for certain stuff. So it's just like, for me, I'd tell my friends that, hey, I have an exam tomorrow. And they'd be like, so are you on TikTok? Go study for your exam. So it's just like, yeah. So having the right people, writing stuff down, and taking responsibility that, hey, this is on you. It's not on your mom. It's not on anybody else but you. So you got to get it done.
Yes, yes. Okay. So getting into like your athletics. So you compete a lot. I know that. Track meets, intercollegiates, all these things that you have to do. So how do you handle competitions? How do you prepare yourself mentally to be able to know, okay, I have this competition on the weekend, but Monday I have school? How do you make it not affect you, even if you had a bad competition or a good one?
Well, And I had to learn this from high school because, as I said, I think I juggled more in high school than do now because, like,
Yeah.
I had the responsibilities. You know, I was running up and down for prefect council and stuff like that. I had peer council. I had so many things, like house captain, get so many things in high school. So it's just like it taught, like, the older you got, you realize you have to decompartmentalize. You know, you have to put things in their sections, and you have to realize that, hey, this doesn't overlap. So it's just like you get up and you have the responsibility of, hey, I'm an athlete. Yes, I am an athlete, but I'm not only an athlete. You know, I'm also a student. And and then for me, I love to, like, have just the perfect balanced life all the time. So I feel like if a part of me or a part of my responsibilities fall short, I can make up for it in something else. So it's like, hey, I had a bad meet, but I can ace this quiz on Monday, you know? It's just like doing the best you can with what you can in that moment. It's like focusing on the next right thing. So you realize that it doesn't really overlap because it doesn't really matter. Like, what do you track meet have to do at school? They're two different responsibilities. So compartmentalizing, realizing that everything is its individual thing. They don't overlap.
Okay, okay. And your to do athletics, let's just say athletics, you have to be very strong mentally. So how do you handle the fear of losing, the fear of disappointments? How do you handle when you have won and then you don't want to be too arrogant to make your competitors feel below you or something like that? How do you handle your emotions when it comes on to things like that?
Well, emotions and mental health for sure, in terms of like dealing with failures and just overall taking care of you and your
Yeah.
mindset. I have help. I see my sports psychologist that they have. Her name's Katie. I love Katie if she's watching this, and she kind of keeps me accountable for how I'm feeling because it's like you don't know how to deal with something until you can acknowledge what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like a competition is finished and I'm anxious for the next competition. And I'm like, I don't know that I'm anxious, but my actions are saying that I'm anxious. Kate
Yeah.
would have to identify that, hey, you're just anxious right now. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just anxious. You can deal with that. Go through your routines. And yeah. So mental health wise, that's really how I deal with it. But like other things such as remaining humble and what other people think and failing and what will they think of me and perspective, I struggle with that on probably daily basis. But overall, what I've learned from that struggle is that all you can really do is be yourself at all times. And you see, when you're striving to be your ideal you. And for me, I'm very God centered. So my ideal me has a lot to do with what's in the Bible. So, you know, the Bible teaches against humility and teaches against pride and encourages humility and stuff like that. So I'm like, as long as I'm being me and that me aligns with my spiritual beliefs, then I'm perfectly fine. Like, your like is extra, your validation is extra. I like today.
Okay, that's good. And you said that you visit your sports psychologist. So, getting into a little bit more of mental health. So, what do you do while you're there or when you come home to sustain a good mental health, to keep your mind healthy?
Truth be told, I don't get the time all the time to check on myself mentally. But I
Yeah,
make time per week or per month to do like stop checks. So you
yeah,
just, you know how you have elevators and the elevators have to have like a monthly maintenance. I'm not sure how elevators work, but like you have to check up on the elevator from time to time. I might not be able to do it daily, but I do try to schedule a period of time per week. And it's just like when I do, I sit back, I turn off my phone, because turning off the phone it's such a luxury. To lock off, do not disturb is
yeah.
just my favorite setting. My phone never moves from it. And you just get the chance to be with yourself in the States and you just ask yourself some really tough and personal questions like, hey, how are you actually doing? How are you actually feeling right now? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And for me, I journal a lot. I pray a lot. So I'm not only talking to me, I'm talking to God as well. And He and I are just working on me together. And yeah, you do things that you know helps you feel at peace. So if it's that you sit back and you watch a good movie and you unwind, that's good. You talk to people who bring you peace. For me, that's my grandmother and my mother and my family sometimes, and sometimes even my friends. Or you just take with yourself. Go to a. For me, the day God gave me a car was the worst decision ever because I will just take a random trip to go watch the sunset in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. I'm not encouraging people to do that. It's not necessarily safe considering where I am. But I do take my drives, and if my head chip, I just go wherever I feel and I just be and exist and stay by myself for a little while.
Okay. Okay.